Welcome to this explainer. Listen, if you're a focused learner aiming for those top-tier band 7 to 9 scores on your IELTS speaking test, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unpack the ultimate goal here, mastering natural vocabulary to achieve that high-level success. We're breaking down the specific language strategies used by the most successful candidates, and we're going to do it step by step to keep us totally locked in on what actually matters. Let's shatter a massive myth right out of the gate. So many students genuinely believe that packing their answers with the longest, most complicated words they can possibly find equals a higher score. But listen to this quote straight from our source material. Don't memorize. Use them naturally when they genuinely fit. Authentic, conversational fluency beats forced, overly academic phrasing every single time. It's really about using the right tool for the right job, not just showing off how heavy your toolbox is. So, here's our playbook for today. We'll start with the Band 7-9 secret, move through opinions, natural hesitation, and advanced linking. Then we'll cover how to clarify ideas, give solid evidence, and finally, build a sustainable vocabulary habit. Okay, let's jump straight into Section 1, the Band 7 to 9 secret, and what examiners actually want. Our source material is actually based on a meticulous analysis of over 50 mock IELTS speaking tests, featuring top-tier responses. And honestly, it all comes down to 3 core requirements: lexical range, grammatical complexity, and natural fluency. The examiners, they aren't looking for a walking dictionary. They're assessing your ability to weave a really rich variety of words into grammatically sophisticated sentences, all while maintaining the flow of a genuine, normal conversation. Moving right along to Section 2, opinions and natural hesitation. Basically, sounding natural. Real conversations have pauses. If you just instantly fire back perfectly scripted answers, you sound like a robot, not a fluent speaker. So here's exactly how you buy time naturally. When you get a tricky prompt, using opening responses like, "That's an interesting question," or thoughtful pauses like, "Well, let me see," or "How should I put this?" literally gives your brain the crucial seconds it needs to formulate a thought. And the best part? It maintains an authentic conversational flow that examiners absolutely actively reward. All right, so once you've bought yourself that time, you actually have to deliver your thought, right? We have a fantastic toolkit here to move way beyond the basic "I think" or "in my opinion." Consider how we can structure much more balanced views with phrases like "I have mixed feelings about," or "to be perfectly honest." Now, if you want to take a stronger position, you can confidently state, "I'd argue that," or "in my experience." Using these nuanced frames immediately signals to the examiner that you have a highly sophisticated grasp of spoken English. Let's look at Section 3, advanced linking and nuance. This is all about how you connect your ideas. So you've got these great ideas, but how do you actually string them together? Well, that's exactly where advanced linking comes in. Consider these cohesive devices. When you want to add information, instead of just saying "and," you can use "furthermore" or "what's more." To contrast ideas, phrases like "nevertheless" or "that being said" do the heavy lifting. These sophisticated connectors instantly demonstrate your grammatical range, and they keep your response flowing logically. It completely prevents your answer from sounding like just a choppy list of isolated sentences. Here's a crucial tip. High-level speakers rarely speak in absolutes. The world is complex, right? And your language really needs to reflect that. Notice how we can express subtle degrees and nuance here. Instead of saying, "everyone agrees," you might use partial agreement, like "to some extent" or "to a certain degree." And notice the degree modifiers too. Words like substantially, considerably, or marginally. Injecting these into your answers shows a highly sophisticated level of language control. It proves to the examiner that you can navigate the gray areas of absolutely any topic. Which brings us to Section 4, clarifying and comparing ideas. In complex discussions, even native speakers have to clarify what they mean. And doing this explicitly, that is a massive sign of communicative competence. If you introduce a complex idea, don't just leave it hanging there. Use these specific elaboration techniques. Say, "What I mean by that is," or "to put it another way." If you want to focus your argument, tell the examiner directly, "The point I'm trying to make is." This ensures your brilliant ideas are fully understood and keeps you in total control of the narrative. Now, part 3 of the test is super focused on analyzing different viewpoints. And here is the exact language you need to balance arguments. On one side, we have showing similarities with "similarly" and "likewise." But then consider how easily we can flip the perspective using "unlike," "whereas," or "on the other hand." Being able to seamlessly pivot between 2 contrasting ideas using these exact transition words, That is the true hallmark of a Band 8 or 9 response.
Next up, Section 5, giving examples and evidence to really support your arguments.
You literally can't just throw out general statements and expect a top score. You have to back them up to show coherent idea development. Here is how you anchor your thoughts in reality. Look at the introductory phrases here. Take, for example, or a case in point would be. When you need to show a broader pattern, try something like, this manifests itself in. Using this precise language explicitly signals to the examiner that you aren't just talking in circles, but that you are actively building a structured, well-supported argument. To make sure you're fully prepared, let's look at some contemporary vocabulary that is frequently tested in IELTS. Across categories like work and career or society and culture, having the right phrasing is absolutely crucial. Using targeted terms like work-life balance or technological advancement immediately signals your awareness of current global issues. No, again, don't force these in where they don't belong, but having these phrases ready ensures you can confidently discuss the complex modern topics examiners just love to bring up. And finally, Section 6, building your vocabulary habit. It's time to build a routine. So how do you actually learn all these phrases without totally overwhelming yourself? Well, consistency is absolutely the secret to vocabulary mastery. It's just a simple 3-step process. Step 1. Dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes a day. Small, regular efforts completely outperform stressful cramming sessions. Step 2. Make it interactive with apps like Quizlet or Memrise to review while you're on your commute. And Step 3. Consume authentic media. Listen to TED Talks or podcasts. Really expose yourself to how these words are actually used in the wild by native speakers. The resources are free, the method is completely proven, and now the results are entirely in your hands. We've looked at hesitation phrases, nuanced linkers, and how to structure a complex argument naturally. But all that knowledge requires action. So, here is my final question for you today. Your vocabulary journey begins with a single word. Which one will you learn today? I highly encourage you to pick one phrase we covered, use it in a conversation today, and start building that natural fluency. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy learning.